Despite being an animated children's series, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy contains some of the most masterful cinematography, storytelling, and character writing out of any film released on this side of the century. It received critical acclaim, earning especially high box office numbers from outside the United States. Interestingly, a prominent Chinese filmmaker stated that the movie encapsulated Chinese culture so incredibly well, he wonders how the movie was not made in China, or why China hadn't been able to produce a film of the same caliber. The film itself makes incredibly deep and meaningful commentary on a theme that every single person, no matter their background, can identify with: identity. It shows that only through confronting your past and learning about what makes you, can you achieve inner peace and truly be happy. The movie begins with Po, having recently begun his tenure as the protector of his village at the end of the last movie, hearing his master warn him that despite the fact that he is now the esteemed dragon warrior, he still has not yet achieved inner peace. This conversation is interrupted by news of a potential new threat to his village and to Kung Fu itself, Lord Shen. As the movie progresses, it becomes clear that not only is Shen a threat to all of China, he has mysterious ties to Po's traumatic childhood. Po and Shen battle for the first time, where Po is gravely injured and is barely rescued by a goat, who is found to be Shen's former soothsayer, and who knows of Po's past. It is here in this scene that Po begins to really examine himself for the first time and figure out who Po really is.
Stop fighting. Let it flow.
Okay, at first here you see Po consciously resist the flow of emotion because his whole life, his coping mechanism has simply been to suppress his painful emotions. However, with the soothsayer's guidance, he begins to perform the Tai Chi sequence that his master showed him at the beginning of the movie, and with the raindrop acting as a metaphor for his emotions, he allows it to permeate his body as he acknowledges it for the very first time. Here, the constant one-take style of the camera creates a sense like flowing water, akin to the water drop flowing in Po's hand. The stark contrast between Po's 2D fiery red past and the 3D watery present almost makes it say that the present is putting out the fires of the past. It says that the present and the past are different, and the past doesn't define who Po is now. In the last scene of his flashback, the color palette turns much brighter, and the animation switches from 2D to 3D as a naive, baby Po smiles at his mother. Po's eyes in the present open in pain, almost as though he's been physically hurt or stabbed in some way, showing that this memory has the most impact on his current situation, and that his mother's eventual death is the most important and painful memory for him to move past in order to find inner peace.
Your story may not have such a happy beginning, but that doesn't make you who you are. It is the rest of your story, who you choose to be.
This scene involves the soothsayer giving Poe some of the most important advice he could ever hope to get. And it's not about your background or what happened to you years ago. It's about what you choose to do with your life, who you want to be. This spurs Poe to recall every single moment of agency in his life in an epic montage, involving clips mostly from the first movie that really do define who he is now. The music here is also the theme of the first movie, showing that it's these events here and these people from the recent past that define him instead of the events from his early childhood. Again, the color palette here is very bright, combining with the music to create an incredibly uplifting, inspirational sequence. The very final part shows him with his adopted father, showing that he is leaving behind his past and truly accepts his adopted father as his father.
So, who are you, Panda?
I am Poe.
In this final part of the scene, the soothsayer begs the most pivotal question of the entire movie. Who are you? This entire movie has forced Poe through countless hardships for him to be able to find the answer to this one question. It is the question that he must be able to answer in order to defeat Lord Shen. And now he is armed with the only possible correct answer. He's himself. He is not defined by the atrocities that Lord Shen committed against his village. He is defined by who he chooses to be. The camera zooms in on his face here, allowing you to take up the entire frame, to see the look of determination on his face. There is no inkling of Poe seeking revenge. He seeks simply to perform his duties as the Dragon Warrior, the role that he chose, not what Shen wants him to be.